Hello people, we're going to create the UI of our project. That means a web project. Let's create a new project. Let's say ASP.NET Core Web App with Model View Controller, net restaurant.ui. First, let's implement the DB context in your UI. Let's go to the program.cs file and register the service for my DB context. Let's go to builder.services, but if you see add DB context, I don't have this method. I have to install the entity framework packages. Let's go to the NuGet. Let's go to entity framework. Let's search for it. Let's install entity framework. Install Core SQL Server. To use our options with use SQL Server and tools. Go back to our program. If you see now, add DB context. I have my DB context. Let's say to my generic parameter, my DB context. But if you see, I don't have access to my DB context. So I have to add this project reference. Let's add to the infrastructure for now. Application DB context. My options will be use SQL Server, import from the namespace, and to the parameter, let's say builder configuration, get connection string to get my connection string, and get from default connection. I will let the connection string in the resources of this lecture. So I'm gonna just copy from another project. My connection string is, the database name is net restaurant, and this is the local connection string. If someday you want to publish this app, you would have to place the connection string for your production database in this app settings.json, not the development. Now that my DB context is already registered in the services of the application, we can use the migrations and create our database. Let's go to tools, our package manager console. Our DB context is in the infrastructure, so we have to select as default project. Let's add our migration. Let's say initial, but you get an error saying Microsoft Entity Framework design is not installed. So let's install. Let's go to the NuGet. Let's browse for Entity Framework. And let's install the design package. Install, accept, open the package manager console again, and add our migration. But you see again saying that your starter project ASP.NET Core doesn't have reference. We have the same error again. To run our migrations, you have to set the UI project as starter project. And now if I run our migration again, you see now my migration is added to our infrastructure layer. I can run the command update database to create our tables. I have my migration with my tables, create table with my foreign keys, my primary keys, 2 foreign keys in the dishes table. Let's see our table in the database. Let's go to my SQL Object Explorer. Let's refresh it. And if you see now, I have my tables here. My dishes table, my categories tables, my orders tables, my users table, but a table is missing. A table for orders and dishes. It should create a new table for storing the reference from these 2 tables so we can have a many-to-many relationship. Let's go to our entities and see what's going on. Go to our order. Our order has a list of dishes. Let's go to our dish. It does not have a list of order. I forgot to create this property. Let's say list, order, and let's say orders. If you catch that and created this property, congratulations. You are good. You understand what is a many-to-many relationship and how to map in entity framework. Let's add a new migration again. Add the migration. Let's say update many, any to many order dishes. If you see here in my migration, I dropped my columns and I will create a new table for dish order with my columns for order ID and dish ID. And now if I run my command with update database and I refresh my database, I see now that my dish order table was created with my columns for dish ID and order ID, so I can have a many-to-many relationship. And this is enough for this lecture. We've already implemented our infrastructure and our core layer, but we have to implement our layer for UI to the user interface. See you again in the next lecture.